7, and today, our theme of exploration: time. Due to the sheer length of this video, there's a chance you might not make it till the very end, in which case we invite you to come back whenever the time is right for you, but take away with you this free gist of the whole aspect of time and its nature, explained herewith. Suppose these are all your frames of reality, containing everything you will ever experience in this lifetime, each different and unique from each other in its own way. They exist all together in this same moment we call here and now, as you can see them, but only by channeling your consciousness through each frame in a sequence do you experience change in your reality, or what you experience, thereby experiencing what we call time. We begin. This is a circle, except it's not. It's a sphere when you look at it from the side. Truth of the matter isn't really about this or that, but rather this and that. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at changes. The sun rises from the east, yet still it doesn't. And in space, the sun doesn't rise at all. How you see things is just a matter of perspective. The things you will learn here about time might seem somewhat eccentric to obnoxiously fringe, since these come from dimensions much higher than this realm. Most of these haven't been concluded by scientists and will not be, until the collective frequency of Gaia has reached a certain threshold close to the fifth dimension. But in your so-called future, everyone already knows this as facts. You were just getting an early peek, or preview, very much like a trailer of a movie. If things get too uncomfortable during this journey, imagine it's very similar to the idea where at some point all of humanity used to believe the sun rotates around the earth, or landing on moon is impossible, and now they don't. From your so-called physical reality in the third dimension, you are now entering the fourth dimension, the dimension of time. Over a certain period of time, we carried out an experiment where we asked a group of people, some doctors, some accountants, some CEOs, some journalists, artists, teachers, parents, and some grandparents, what is time? We don't need to disclose the result, since you can already imagine how it went, but you can always check for yourself, carrying out the same experiment in your own society, asking the people around you or whoever you meet on a daily basis. But remember to ask yourself first. Human beings go on through life, every day through time, knowing as little as possible about it, until it comes to an end for them. All thanks to the Matrix. What is time? Is time an illusion, or is time real? What is time, the mother of all odds? Something we always tend to run out of, limiting our experience here on Earth within a lifetime. No matter how influential or rich you are, you cannot buy more time, and it eventually runs out for everyone. Have you realized why some people tend to stay alive for over 100 years, or age less? Is there a way to slow down aging by slowing down time? Can we time travel? If these questions concern you, this video is for you. Time is very relative between different individuals experiencing the same event. Time is very relative for a certain individual experiencing different events. No matter what you identify as or like to believe to be true, you are always here as a soul in the fifth dimension, using a template that exists somewhere between the fifth and the fourth dimension. You as a soul project a version of yourself into the third dimension, which is your physical self, which most human beings refer to as themselves. Yes, the version of you that you call yourself is actually just 20% of the real you, most of which lies in the spirit, in the fifth dimension and beyond as a soul, the infinite being. As you project yourself into the third dimension for experience of a collective reality in any planet or galaxy, your consciousness passes through the fourth dimension of time as the frames of reality existing within the third dimension, held by collective consciousness, shifts frame by frame. Through your projection, you experience the passing of time in the fourth dimension by channeling consciousness in the form of energy. The higher the frequency, less is the energy that needs to be channeled to shift through a given set of reality frames, and less time is experienced. That is literally the gist of time, and how you experience time through observation of reality through your own and collective effort via projection of your soul's consciousness along with other beings incarnated in the third dimension, same as you. If a collective of beings choose to have the experience of a reality incorporating a planet, mountain, trees, animals, pain, disease, sickness, joy, celebration, peace, nature, etc., there's no way you can experience those as anything else other than the collective choice once you incarnate in the third dimension as part of that collective. And when the collective incarnated on a different planet choose to have the experience of trees, animals, fire, or other features as something else, that's what they're going to have. That being said, we will now get back to the analysis of time as you experience. From a source perspective, the only true time there is, was, or ever will be is the now. Everything is happening here and now, the grand basis of space, time, quantum realm. But once you enter the realm, you start experiencing time significantly as it flows through you. And the moment you leave the fourth dimension and go back to fifth dimension or above, during sleep or post-death, or in other forms and states, you realize all that is happening, happened, or will happen is contained within the fourth dimension, which can all be observed all at once from the fifth dimension or any dimension higher than the fifth, given certain conditions. Time, the most unforgiving of all odds. If you could turn back time, you could have avoided so many mistakes, made so many changes, become young again, made decisions which would have seemingly changed your life. If you could stop time, you could stop aging and cheat death and live forever. But then, you'd have to go against the fifth universal law of the source. And since you are it, experiencing itself, you cannot defy the law. You are the law. You represent it. Hence, time changes no matter what, as a reflection of the change in you, which is constant. Since the very beginning, you have been looking yourself in the mirror every day, and been seeing the same you. If your face changed all of a sudden one day from the previous day, you would have had a panic attack. The reason you never do is because your face never seemingly changes from the last time you saw yourself in the mirror. Yet still, you at the age of 14 is very different from how you look at the age of 40 or 70, meaning every day your face changes whether you notice it or not. use every moment of every day to cause the overall change to occur. Due to the passage of time, time comes when things seems to be not going where they should, or you realize things can't be what you wish they were or should have, since you cannot turn back time. But you didn't come here to not make mistakes, but rather learn from them. Learning from the mistakes itself fixes the mistake in the timeline for you and anyone else who you come across in the future, learning from you. As it shows here, your soul projects from the fifth dimension, which holds consciousness of much higher vibration compared to the fourth dimension or the third dimension. You experience your reality in the third dimension due to shifting of the projected consciousness through frames of reality at a rate of 10 to the power 43 frames per moment. Higher your vibration or frequency is, higher is your observation point of these frames, and for the same set of frames being observed or experienced, you experience less passage of time. Hence we suggest staying away from or avoid indulging in lower vibrational states, frequencies, emotions, and belief systems that create those or any lower vibrational themes of experience, such as fear, trauma, shame, guilt, resentment, anger, etc. Time is an aspect of creation, hence time is within the realm of all that is created by the source, not the other way around. Time is a part of creation. Creation didn't happen within time. Everything that exists, existed, or will exist, all exist in the now moment. Hence you cannot say, when did creation happen, for the question itself is invalid. Time is a subset of all creation, created by the source, not the other way around. In fact, given the dimensions, it's a very small aspect of creation, since time only exists in dimensions below fourth, and there are many more dimensions above that. Creation didn't happen within time. Time happened within creation. You never had time. You don't have time. You create time for an assessment of an energetic connection to an experience that your soul has created for you here in the third dimensional timeline through pure transmutation of consciousness. Time is a scope within the fourth dimension for the soul to assess the energetic connection of a manifestation of the now, your reality, within a certain timeline progression. You as a soul manifest an event through a continuous projection of your consciousness in the now moment. In order to evaluate the experience you have in the third dimension, you will need to make an assessment of the energy transformed through your consciousness over time. However, when experiencing things from fifth dimension or above, the nature of time drastically changes in terms of flow and seemingly stagnates to the now moment. soul manifests your whole life's timeline within the now, but you have the freedom to experience life through that timeline as you see fit, through freedom of choice. In order for you to have an energetic connection and have an experience of these events in your timeline, you use time. Is time real? Yes, but mostly within any dimension lower than the fifth dimension. For any dimension higher than the fourth dimension, not so much. However, the experience of time is always real, else there would be no requirement for it. Time is one of the greatest elusive parameter ever to hold the matrices in the third dimension. Yes, there are several matrices in all dimensions, but time is mostly observed in the matrices within the fourth and the third dimension. You never had time, you chose to have an experience first, and in turn created time in the fourth dimension to manifest the experience in the third dimension, since without time, essence of experience is gone. In other words, once the soul chooses to project itself as an incarnation in order to have the experience of a lifetime within the space-time enclosed 3D realm, all the experiences, all the events, all the possible outcomes of every journey, every event is created and etched into the third dimensional timelines of its choosing within the matrix. However, what the ultimate outcome will be is dependent on the free will and the choices made by the incarnated 3D self on its chosen timeline from the available set of timelines in order to have an experience through the passage of time. What a certain set of souls incarnated within a matrix timeline will experience, on the other hand, is decided by the projection of the oversoul containing the collective of those souls. An oversoul projection between approximately 1700 to 1950 AD can contain the themes of war and peace, where souls will have the option to explore life in the third dimensional earth as generals in war, soldiers in war, prisoners in war, nurses in war, civilians in war, or just people watching the war unravel from far away in total peace. Time is the connection between your energy and the next block in timeline matrix. Timeline progression cannot happen without the transmutation of energy through you over time. As you project your soul energy into the third dimension, through the fourth dimension, to observe a block of experience within the timeline that you are on, you create and experience time. Reality moves through your consciousness as your soul projects its consciousness, giving you the illusion of moving through the reality frames already etched within the 3D matrix, holding the overall consciousness to explore for the lifetime. As you match a certain vibration of reality within the timelines through your belief systems, thoughts, or emotions, that reality from the timeline gets projected through you. And as you shift your vibration, a different reality within the timeline moves through your consciousness, and this movement of reality gives you an assessment of time. between reality A and reality B, the energetic connection you have with both, and the shift of your consciousness in between the journey gives you an assessment of the time passed. Things happen through you as the soul projects a version of itself along frames in the timeline you are on in the third dimension. This flow of consciousness through you for the sheer purpose of experience cannot be assessed in the third dimension without the aid of a factor. Hence we, from an universal perspective, created time. Everything exists all at once. Everything's not happening all at once. Realization of time in its flow state starts whenever any entity crosses the fourth dimension downwards to experience a happening on any timeline. Due to the nature of time, the experience of timelines are much different as you go from third dimension to higher dimensions above fourth. Without a sense of change, all third-dimensional consciousness collapses back to the soul due to lack of purpose for staying separate from the soul. Since your third-dimensional reality is a projection of the soul through you within its version of the now, in order to assess any change or growth of the soul projection through your third-dimensional self, time is needed. Depending on how connected you are to the soul, higher mind, or higher self, you can vary time progression while experiencing any third-dimensional event. Time passes differently while channeling 3D, 4D, or 5D energies. Time helps to create the illusion of the game of life for the soul to assess various moments in the now through frames in the timeline made of consciousness, of experience frequency, not experiencer frequency, which is you. The consciousness that your reality is made of is different than the consciousness that you are made of. Same way, ice, steam, and water are all made of the same thing. They just vary in frequency of vibration or crystallization. As a third-dimensional example of your life's timeline and your experience, we would say the game you are playing is installed in your computer or phone now, just like your whole life is etched into the collection of timelines your soul has chosen for you. But you are playing the game of life, one moment at a time, to experience it. As above, so below. Time is a side effect of energetic transformation done by an entity from the fifth dimension or higher, since fourth dimension is where the effect of time starts, due to conjuring of events in the third dimension, enclosed within the fourth dimension. Time is nothing but a factor created to measure the amount of energy exchange happening for a dimensional experience here in the third dimension. The time is flowing through you. It happens to you as a side effect of consciousness in the form of energy that you choose to transmute in order to have a fourth dimensional experience here in the third dimension. Fourth dimensional experience being 3 dimensions of space and the fourth dimension of time, without the aid of which you go back into the soul perspective of life, where everything exists all at once and the sense of experiencing something in a rather distinct fashion in its own unique sense is gone. Depending on how you choose to experience the moment through the projection of the soul consciousness projecting through you and the projection templates, the sense of time will vary as per the energy transmitted through you. Channeling the higher frequencies coming from your higher mind or higher self in the shape and form of excitement, imagination, intuition, joy will make it feel like you're not exhausting your own third dimensional energy of the body-mind. since the energy is truly being channeled from the fifth dimension, not from your own third-dimensional version. Hence, your physical self barely notice the time moving, since the measure of time that you feel here in the third-dimensional reality mostly is due to the side effect of channeling your third-dimensional energy and not the fifth-dimensional energy. When you are working on your passion with the highest excitement, passage of time shortens. You could be working or engaged in an act for 6 hours and feel like only 6 minutes has passed. You may encounter people or moments where you feel like you've been doing something for too long yet still barely noticed the time passing. You are channeling your energy not from the third dimension, but rather from the fifth dimension, which is that of excitement, joy, love, etc. Time passes differently with respect to the experience you are having, as per the flow of energy and the frequency of the experience. Hence, the passing of 5 minutes differ when you are sitting next to your pet or crush, and when you are sitting next to a criminal or someone you deem dangerous due to the frequency of the energies you are channeling in those states. You can slow down time or fast forward it by controlling your connection to the soul, unlike most human beings, due to their intense connection to the third dimension. In other words, if you understand the flow of energy and your connection to your higher self or your soul, you can meditate while you walk. What's walking to a third-dimensional physical self can just be a relaxed state of being from the higher mind's perspective, if there are no interference from the third dimension. Whether you choose to be interfered by any third-dimensional factor or not remains completely up to you. You can stay calm while others panic by controlling time through changing the flow of energy through you. Fear-based energies will make time pass slow, thereby expanding the passage of time. Love or peace-based higher frequencies, when channeled, on the other hand, will make time pass much faster. You can age different as well using the same mechanism. Even on passing of 3 hours of real clock time, it may feel like only 10 minutes has passed while being in your higher state, such as in a state of meditation, love, joy, or peace, instead of anger, guilt, shame, or fear, or anxiety, wherein time seems to be barely passing. Similarly, working on your passion instead of working at a boring job, 3 hours may feel like 10 minutes, and therefore you will age only 10 minutes instead of 3 hours. This is the reason some people tend to age way less, even being of the same age as others. This is a soldier's face after 4 years of war between 1941 and 1945. As demonstrated in the picture, due to sheer stress and processing and storing of negative frequencies such as fear, anxiety, remorse, grief, anger, within 4 years, this soldier has aged around 12 to 15 years in reality. Due to the energetic connection you have to certain feelings, your body's frequency can be too high or low, thereby altering the time constant. Time equals 1 by frequency, meaning time is inversely proportional to the frequency you're holding. The higher the frequency you hold within yourself, the shorter the time span that will pass through you. You will barely notice time passing, and henceforth you will age as much time you experience to have passed. On channeling high frequency energies through yourself, you reject low vibrational reality with low vibrational events and emotions and people, and your evaluation of time becomes shorter, since time equals 1 by frequency. Higher the frequency, shorter the time passage, and hence slower the aging process. For others, upon passing of 1 hour, it will feel like 10 minutes for you if you're experiencing higher frequencies through your state of being. unaffected by the 3D limiting negative ego-based beliefs. Hence we say raise your vibration by reviewing and eliminating negative beliefs about yourself and others. Hence for others it may feel like you are barely aging with time, since in reality you're just moving through less time spectrum than them, channeling high frequency energies. It's also the reason some of us lightworkers, starseeds and archangels barely age past 18 or 20 years, even though we are in our 30s, 40s or 50s. A 9-to-5 job can feel like 5 to 9 if you are enjoying what you are doing. Work becomes fun due to your energetic connection through assessment of the same work when experienced from a higher perspective. Due to heavier energy channeling or harboring low-frequency emotions, you can be detached from the core soul frequency, which is much higher vibrational compared to your physical self, becoming too embedded in the third dimension, making the time progression seemingly slower. 5 minutes sitting idle and 5 minutes on a treadmill will pass differently or same way, depending on the energy or intention you harbor during the experience. Since 5 minutes sitting idle thinking that you have to be running can change your frequency compared to sitting idle thinking you need to in order to relax. On the other hand, 5 minutes sitting idle because you want to may pass similarly to running on a treadmill because you have the energy to exhaust in both cases and you just intentionally wish to be present in both the scenarios, bringing a sense of relaxation in both scenarios. But 5 minutes may pass very differently if you're sitting idle when you have jobs to finish, since your mind is running wild and growing impatient thinking about finishing the jobs. For example, say Maria or Juan is sitting idle for 5 minutes in 5 different scenarios. Number 1. Thinking about something bad that happened to them in the past. Number 2. Thinking how great their life is. Number 3. Thinking about a mistake they made that changed their life. Number 4. Thinking about their parents who just passed away. Number 5. Thinking about talking to their partner next day after 5 years of separation. If you ask them at the end of 5 minutes how long do they think has passed, they will give you a different number for each case scenario due to the amount of energy and the frequency of it that they processed. Once you learn to control your own frequency or your energy of action through reaction to what you experience, you can control flow of time. Mostly it can be achieved by doing anything that excites you the most at any given point and not thinking about anything else, being present in that indulgence in that moment wholeheartedly. The sense of urgency comes from anticipating the end of the game and forgetting or not being able to know about all the other games you have played in other lifetimes, which could have led you to realize the essence of the game of lives that you have played and will play after this game of life that you are playing now. If you don't remember a life before, you cannot expect a life after, thanks to the 3D matrix and the law of forgetting who you are once you incarnate here on Earth. You always have enough time for anything, since you as a soul being are infinite and unending. Thereby focusing on the moment leads you to higher output, higher efficiency, and better manifestation rather than worrying about the time aspect of doing things. You have higher chance of processing high frequency energies when your attention is in the moment. If you think closely, you will realize from the 5th dimensional perspective of the soul, the whole film strip that is your life and other sequential events exists in the projection room now, all at once. You as a film projectionist, which is the soul, can see the whole life movie all at once, but the experience is much different than that of the audience. Whereas for you in the 3rd dimension, it's happening as a film that the audience watch on the screen due to the soul's projection of the now with time. Same way the editor can see the whole film all at once in the editing screen, but it's not happening all at once you start playing it. carefully, you will realize when you look at your clock for the time, the clock never says it's 5:30 p.m. or it's 11:23 a.m. It's always saying now, 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 as the second hand goes tick-tock tick. Hence, at the same time, when you call someone in New York from Tokyo, it's all happening at the same now, but you may say it's 10 o'clock in the morning here in Tokyo, and the person in New York will say it's 9 o'clock in the night at mine, thereby revealing the illusionary nature of time. Same way you lose essence of night, noon, evening and day once you are in space. Death seemingly cannot come if there's no passage of time. As you focus on the now, which is eternal, the fear of death dissipates, thereby realizing death as a translation of one now to the other, with two different versions of the same you, only differing in frequency of projection. Once you realize the illusionary nature of time, the past, present and future all collapses onto the same moment, now, and a lot of hold, control or influence that the matrix has through time perspective loosens. Time seems linear due to the propagation of the events you already have conjured. Much like a Mario game, you as a soul already know mentally you're at the right end of the screen, and that's where you are going to end up, no matter the events in between, since from the starting point there's nowhere else to be. Created time in order to have the experience in the third dimension, to help the consciousness grow by knowing itself as part of the experience through itself, as part of the soul experiencing it through you. Souls being the unique aspect or unit of experience for the source to be and realize what it is, infinite and unending, ever expanding. Can we time travel or travel to a different time? Before we get to the answer, we should establish two facts from the fifth dimension or above. Number one, everything exists all at once. Everything's not happening all at once. Number two, you cannot be in any spot having the same experience twice, ever, since you cannot be the same projection more than once, ever, since there's so much to experience and the source doesn't waste anything. Hence, you cannot be the same person twice, since you are changing every moment, and in every moment you are a new projection or version of yourself, no matter what. Henceforth, you cannot go back or forth to any moment in any timeline exactly. You can go back to a similar point in a timeline of your choice that you create upon a wish of manifestation. Since everything exists all at once, you cannot so-called go back to a reality or go to the future reality. You are just shifting your projection to a reality that is existing in parallel to yours and seems exactly similar to a desired past or future. However, it is not exactly the one you have experienced in the past or you will experience in the future, given the conditions of the timeline exploration mentioned above. How do we do it in higher dimensions? It's done by the process of the release, switch and hook. Unless you release yourself from the projection of one reality, you cannot switch to a new one, which can also translate as death, when your soul is done with one projection of reality and chooses to manifest an entirely different one. Once you release from one reality, you have to create or simulate the frequency of experience of the new timeline with certain parameters in your consciousness, and once you switch, you will need to hook the attained frequency of your consciousness onto every element that you wish to shift to. Whatever element you miss will not shift to the new timeline you shift to. For example, Jack can create a similar experience to the one he had 5 years in the past from now on a beach. But whatever elements from that time he cannot recreate or conjure will be missing in the new timeline point where he shifts to. Time travel is only possible upon an oversoul collective's agreement. Hence, if time travel isn't available for exploration within a certain timeline, within a certain dimension of a planet, it will not be available for exploration there. Same way, through collective agreement, you cannot fly on Earth as a human being yet. But maybe in a higher dimension of planet Earth, you possibly can. Time travel is frequency shifting. True time travel happens through vibrational alignment rather than machines. To go to the past, you have to match the frequency of the version of reality that aligns with your desired past. To go to the future, you have to tune yourself to the vibrational frequency of that future. Because all timelines exist right now, time travel is instantaneous. There's no moving through time, only switching channels. It's like a cosmic radio. Each station is similar to a timeline, and changing frequency is similar to shifting realities. All stations exist simultaneously, but you can only hear the one you're tuned into. Biggest gift of time. Biggest gift of time is it renders everything and every situation temporary by the fifth law of the source. It helps keep the essence of life fulfilled, bringing within every new moment innumerable choices to change your reality and have a different experience, despite most humans choosing the same old, guided by the matrix via ego manipulation. Some features of the time parameter. Number 1. Time does not exist as a flow entity. What you perceive as time is your consciousness shifting through billions of parallel realities per second, 10 to the power 43 to be approximate. The movies you watch are only around 24 to 60 frames per second. Now you know why things seem so real in the third dimension. Time is an illusion of continuity created by how fast we move between static frames of parallel realities. Just like a movie is made of still frames, flashing quickly to appear fluid. Reality is a flipbook, and your soul consciousness is a projector. You're shifting realities billions of times per second, as in shifting your consciousness through billions of parallel realities per second, each one slightly different. The illusion of time passing is the result of your consciousness navigating these parallel frames. This rapid shifting creates the experience of continuity like frames in a movie. Number 2. All moments exist simultaneously in the now. Everything you ever have been, are, or will be already exists right now. You as a 12-year-old, you as a plumber, you as a doctor, you as a 39-year-old businessman, all of it. The past, present, and future are all existing all at once in a state of simultaneous existence. There never was a past or future, you have only ever had present. You experience past or future from the moment you are present in. Without the present, there is no past, since all past are there because at some point they were your present. All pasts are results of a certain present, and all future of you are also versions of present that hasn't happened yet. Hence, you can never actually describe the past or the future. Go ahead, try it. What is past? A second before now. Each second has several milliseconds or nanosecond. Each time unit can be divided into smaller and smaller units. Each length of time can be halved, very similar to Zeno's paradox, thereby resulting a much smaller time unit no matter how small you go, rendering the definition of past impossible to achieve except when you describe past as anything that was before the now, future being what comes after now. Both definitions impossible to achieve without the existence or definition of the eternal now, since you cannot define past or future without the present or now, rendering it eternal. You don't move through time, you shift your attention to different versions of the same now. When you remember the past or imagine the future, you are literally shifting to those parallel versions existing in the same now. The present moment contains everything. The now is the only time that truly exists. Time is an illusion of the physical brain. Time appears linear only because the human brain processes one frame of reality at a time, like a projector running a film. In truth, all moments already exist simultaneously in the eternal now. What we call the past and future are just different frequencies or vibrational states that we shift through in every moment. Time is directional in physical reality only. In the third dimension, we experience time as past, present, future for practical navigation. But from a higher dimensional view, time is non-linear. All versions of you exist all at once and influence each other across timelines. You do not move through time, time moves through you. Analogy: time as a DVD. Think of time as a DVD. All scenes, past, present, future, are encoded on the disc simultaneously. The DVD player, which is your mind, plays one scene at a time to create a linear experience. Number 3. Time isn't linear. Your understanding of happening is, which in turn renders time to be seemingly linear while it's really not. It gives an assessment of which way you are moving through timeline and how fast you are channeling the energy through yourself. It's a reflection of the direction in which you choose to shift. You can move forward or backward in time based on your vibrational alignment through dream work, intuition, and higher states of consciousness. Time is not truly linear. It's a construct of physical reality designed to allow us to experience change in a sequential way. Access to other times, past lives, future selves, alternate timelines, comes by aligning your vibrational state in the present. The present moment is a portal to all versions of reality. Number 4. Timelines are infinite and fluid. There isn't one fixed future. You are constantly choosing from infinite probable futures. Every choice, belief, and emotional state shifts you to a different timeline within the set of timelines your soul has chosen for you in this lifetime. That's why changing your state of being now can seemingly alter what's coming. Hence, nobody can actually predict the future as long as there's the factor of freedom of choice. But higher dimensional beings can foresee a probable future depending on the overall chain of events and flow of intention or energy of a certain collective. Timelines are frequencies. A timeline isn't a line at all, it's a frequency band. You jump timelines by shifting your vibration through thoughts, beliefs, and emotion. This is why changing your belief system can literally alter your future and even your relationship to the past. Number 5. You can collapse or expand time. If you follow your highest excitement, you will experience time in a way that expands your presence and shrinks the essence of time to just the now. In high frequency states, such as joy, flow, inspiration, you feel more spacious and time seems to pass much faster. You feel like only 10 minutes has passed over an hour of time, and you age only 10 minutes energetically. In low frequency states such as fear, resistance, you feel rushed or stuck since time seems to not pass as fast. This is not psychological, it's energetic and real. You are not bound by time. You're navigating a field of now moments. To shift your timeline, change your state of being right now, because the future is not coming to you. You are moving to it. Thus, you can come to a conclusion. You are not at the mercy of time. You are the navigator of the now, the only time that will ever exist. Every moment, you are choosing which version of reality to experience. To change your life, Don't wait for time to fix it. Shift your state, and the future you're heading towards will shift instantly. We hope this awakened something in you and raised your vibration into a higher consciousness. Don't forget to share and enlighten others. And remember, you're always one vibration away from a new reality. And that concludes our today's exploration. Our gratitude for your participation in the ascension journey of humanity. Feel free to like and subscribe to find similar videos in the future. Check out our videos from the Universe Unlocked series in the description. Comment here if you need more clarity on anything. Search for any specific topic that might interest or concern you. And remember to keep exploring. Until next time, 47, logging out.